I'm sorry, I just find this ending very funny. I'm going to talk about what I find so funny. And why is this is the second worst. This is not the best in the prequel trilogy, but the second worst in the prequel trilogy next to the Phantom Menace. And I think the best one is the Attack of the Clones because of the ending. Oh boy. In terms of, you know, taking stuff seriously and not laughing at the weird decision makings. Ironically at it, instead of with it, you know? So, Revenge of the Sith. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This is my review on that movie, and honestly, I'm kind of split on this one. This is actually in the prequel trilogy of when it came out. This was one I was most split on. But I ended up really liking it anyway. Then the DVD came out. Remember how I said how A New Hope, we got retitled A New Hope? Because it's a special alternate version of the film that things got shuffled around, and so the effects got changed and modernized. Well, George Lucas didn't wait to do that to the third installment when it got released on DVD. This changes for the sake of changes. Like A New Hope. You want to see my review on that one? So I reviewed that already in a different video, okay? So, yeah, this isn't as well. It's not as bad a movie as New Hope. This version that got released instead of the movie that got released in Timex when it came out, and also other theaters worldwide. So, but the changes that they made kind of does damage the tone and make it more silly than serious for something that's supposed to be basically a poetic space opera franchise. So, yeah. When you get to the when there's see, all of the prequels in the prequel trilogy got altered when they got released home video and when they got released out of the theater. Just for the sake of it, as far as I know, and I guess as far as other people know, they don't know why George Lucas decided to make the changes. Other than just for the sake of it, it doesn't improve the story at all. It doesn't improve anything. It makes it look sillier and stupid. Yeah. So, and the third one suffers the most amount of changes, I feel. Next to Attack of the Clones. But which suffers more, even though... I say I know this changes... For one, changes like for when it got released to home video, when it got released to out of theaters and into the store, the changes suffered more with Attack of the Clones, in terms of making more changes and shuffling them around and removing scenes, and making a less coherent story narrative. So, but which does suffer more? I'm going to have to say this one because. This is it. This is the one when he becomes Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker. This is when he becomes the legend we all know and like that everyone like knew and loved from the original trilogy. So some reason this is when we really start to see the tides turn, like it turn into from this out of the era of the prequel trilogy into the era of the classic original trilogy. So and I can't feel like this really suffers these changes when it got released out of theaters and onto DVD, onto like people get physical, you know. So just go get something off my foot, okay? My toe. Okay. Piece of lint. Very inside this cat, so gotta get that off, you know. So yeah. So let's talk story after a heist, rescuing after the mission of rescuing the Chancellor. And Anakin beheads Count Dooku. He finds out his the love of his life's pregnant Padme. So and you know, basically nervous because of the whole, you know, Jedi's not supposed to date or have romantic relationships. We're not supposed to really have any relationships outside of this Jedi Council, which is kind of like a cult. And so he decides to keep it a secret, not work, and just figure it out as they go along later, and so. Because I guess he can get in trouble, and they both could if they get in trouble if they find out that Padme's pregnant and it's Anakin's kid. So yeah, so Anakin keeps on having this nightmare of seeing Padme's life in jeopardy and screaming in pain. So he tries to figure out how to prevent her from dying that horrible death, and sees it's like a premonition almost. It feels like, since it's like of the future. Yoda. I meant to say Yoda, not Oda. Yoda kind of basically warns that these premonitions of a future of what is to come if he basically turns. But, you know, it being Yoda, he can't really say it more, he can't be more direct, he has to say in riddles. Anakin doesn't quite get Yoda's riddles, because he does turn to the dark side because he fears, and his fears lead to bad choices, leading to the dark side. Getting the best of him, because of his fears. So, Yoda basically told him, and, basically kind of warn him not to let these cloud your judgment, these images, because they're definitely not a set in stone future. They're basically probably a future if you let yourself turn to the dark side if you let the fear get the best of you. And he does, but he, again, Yoda didn't really say it directly like that, like I did, he just has to say it in riddles, and, let Anakin figure out himself what he said. That's why he just always gives things in riddles for some reason. And also saying things, yeah. And, it seems... he's just says things out in a certain way. He doesn't say anything very direct. That's the thing about Yoda. So, because he didn't really got his warning, leads to bad decision, and helping the Chancellor, who is laid to reveal the Sith Lord, a very powerful one, who goes by the name Palpatine. Prince Palpatine, and he finds Luke, Anakin, I was going to say Luke, because I get them sometimes things, so figures out when that Palpatine's playing him, and using him, and messing with his mind, and to basically try and get him to turn. So, instead of, now Palpatine just assumes that he's going to be executed and get into his dark side. Anakin says, no, I'm going to turn you into the Jedi Council for your crimes against the Republic. So... Palpatine tries to play mind games by manipulating Anakin into thinking he's the one that can really help and save Padme's life, which was the power of the dark side to prevent saving someone from death and heal them. So... I'm trying to yeah, so, kind of works, the mind games, so, I can't remember the rest of this version of the movie, okay? Look, yeah, I get kind of confused when, like, the whole Order 66 gets executed and gets get killed, and then the council come to execute Palpatine, and, Palpatine loses, and, Mace Windu's gets his arm cut off and, pushed out 7-story window by Anakin with the Force, and his lightsaber, and it's like, gets removed, so, I guess, and then he has to name Darth Vader by Palpatine, and Palpatine looks like he's like, says the Force is strong with you, while looking like he's taking the world's biggest shit. Because this is how he says it. The The Force is strong with you. So yeah, I burst out laughing at that part. The only Jedi that escaped Order 5066 is really and that's when Order 66 after Mace Windu gets thrown out the window by Anakin, and because like the council was going to kill Palpatine and Mace was going to kill him in cold blood. Anakin says it's not the Jedi way and he needs his help and he needs to be trial, and Windu says he's too dangerous to live because he owns everybody, almost the entire Galactic Republic basically. So not the Jedi way, but Mace Windu does have a fair point. Sometimes you gotta play fire with fire. So he kills Mace Windu supposedly. I say supposedly because he's supposed to return by the same actor Samuel Jackson in season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett, which takes place after the prequel trilogy. So supposedly we'll see him in that. Season 2 played by Samuel Jackson reprised in his role. So, after Obi-Wan escapes Order 66, it's unfortunate for the other Jedis that couldn't escape it. The only ones that could escape was Yoda and Obi-Wan supposedly. So, another ones are all dead. So, the Jedis in the younglings that Anakin slaughtered in cold blood. Those Jedi in training children that look around the age 5 and they look roughly around the age 5. So, and this kind of, this is supposed to be the first evil thing we see him do, is basically slaughtering children. And they cut away from it, and then they show in on a security camera installing children and other people, and this that Yoda shows Obi-Wan Kenobi that Anakin's basically a bad seed from the beginning, which proves that Qui-Gon is a fucking moron. Master Qui-Gon is a fucking moron, apparently, and dead wrong. Yeah. Because I believe the council didn't want not just because Anakin was too old, but because his past of his future, if he does become if they do accept him, his past is clouded by the dark side because he sends darkness in the future. The entire council to let him in on the becoming a trained Jedi. So now one could argue that the Jedi is this dicks and this said that for the sake of basically making themselves look less like total fucking creepy pedophiles that abduct children at the young age, far far in their baby years before the able so far so they won't be remember any of their loved ones or their family members. So at that younger age. And as far as we know, they don't really get the parents consultant. Basically ask the parents for permission. So, but as far as we know, they just adopted the children without the parents even having a say in so. The Jedi Council did, because that's the Jedi way. And supposedly that's what I'm guessing what happened. Why? At least so that okay. I mean, or they just probably got lucky by making that bullshit prediction, I mean. Yeah, so, in episode 1, so... It's suggested by Yoda that he needs to kill Anakin, and Obi-Wan says no, because he is my friend. He's basically he's my brother, basically. So, so after Padme takes Obi-Wan, after he takes a ship, it was Obi-Wan. Anakin reveals his true colors to Padme, saying he's showing how much he's changed, and then her and him can rule the galaxy. Blah 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 blah. They monologuing, and then her Padme this easily turns Padme off of Anakin, and it makes her horrified of him, and Anakin tells her don't turn on me like the other Jedi have, already. So like the other council, the Jedi Council has. So then he sees Obi-Wan waiting for waiting at the ship while they're talking, and then he starts choking Padme with the Force, and they're both begging, Padme and Obi-Wan's begging Anakin to let the fuck go, and then his love of his life, and then Obi-Wan basically demands that he lets her go. And he finally does, and she's unconscious now, supposedly probably dead. And Obi-Wan blames Anakin blames Obi-Wan for Padme turning against him. And Obi-Wan says that's bullshit. You basically done that yourself, have her turn against you by letting the dark side cloud your mind. So he tries to talk some sense into Anakin. Then it escalates into a fight, a duel to the death, and Obi-Wan's still trying to reason with Anakin in the fight, and Anakin's just not listening. He's just being arrogant. Yeah, so which Obi-Wan now has the high ground as he gets the upper hand when Anakin tries to make a force jump, like Obi-Wan to try to jump over his head and make a double flip over his head. But I guess he didn't jump high. He didn't jump. Obviously, didn't jump high enough. So because he basically made a slight miscalculation, not getting enough force into his jump, into the force jump, he gets his life removed by Obi-Wan's lifesaver, and gets drowned in lava. And drowning in, like, getting burning, his flesh is burning off, and also his burning as he's on fire because he's like this, like, he's just a few inches away from lava. But I guess the heat from lava basically, and then he gets, like, then the heat from lava basically makes him lit on fire, you know? The smoke from the lava basically lifts his legs on fire because the legs so hot from the lifesaver, I guess. So, cutting off his other leg. So, yeah. So, this is what I was laughing about the ending. Obi-Wan basically robs Anakin while he's burning to death. He takes his lightsaber and basically robs Anakin. Because I guess that's a Jedi way to rob someone while they're incredibly agony pain and not just put them off in misery. Well, the last voice Anakin say, "I hate you," and Obi-Wan says, "You are my brother, and I loved you." Now he's like, then he just like leans down and takes his Anakin's lightsaber instead of leaving it there. He basically robs Anakin after he's like.